I'm really honored to be here today. And as my dad always said, be of service. And that's what I am here to do, to be of service to the good people that make sure this internet thing, the AI thing doesn't end up like the internet thing has for us, both politically and every other way, right? We want to empower people like educators, journalists to be the leaders, the thought people, the artists who are worried about their future. I am here for that purpose only. The rest of my life is in service to those three groups of people that should be driving this bus, this giant school bus where we all learn, and then we learn to adapt, and we learn to innovate, having this new power. So I'm wearing this button. It has EDU to the power of AI. So everything that you are can be empowered, expanded. So that means that if you have a company of 10 employees and you can take AI in and you think you can eliminate 5 of them, you should rethink your process. Because what you can do is you can empower those 5 people to be more productive, more efficient, and better at what they do. What does that do for your person who owns a company? You just get bigger and better at what you do. So think of it as an amplifier. What does it amplify? It amplifies your humanity. Because the one thing it doesn't do is have any skin in the game. It literally doesn't have any skin in the game. So it's never had a person die of cancer. It's never had Alzheimer's to deal with. It's never have overweight or a vaccine that it had to worry about taking. So that's where we come in, the humans, the good humans. They're going to make sure it doesn't end up cyberbullying and deep faking us out of an election or creating fake news. So there's some good people already really at work hard to make this the new possibility. So we're going to start just by introducing me. So this was created just so you understand what's coming from in Midjourney. The image in the background, the photograph on the left was photoshopped in from some free photography services. And then I refaced the picture and did quite a bit of Photoshop work, making me look even more handsome. Got to do that. The QR code in the top right-hand corner is for the presentation itself. So if you take a little screenshot of that, that downloads, not only is this presentation there and you're free to distribute it, just keep my name on there. That's nice, a little advertising. But in there is papers that I've done research already on homelessness and some of the other ways AI has already addressed that in different cities, which is pretty incredible when you take a look at it. And every one of these things, the handout that I've given you all here is also in that folder, in a Dropbox folder. So please take advantage of that. I really seriously do mean I'm to be of service. Maybe we get it, go to the next slide, maybe not. Maybe I turn this thing off here. Okay, there we go. Just to give you a little history, I worked for the Miami Herald for 15 years. I was present the day Mel Fisher, there in the bottom left, just him and I went down, and that is the first treasure chest that I actually found on the treasure ship Atocha. And there's Jimmy Buffett, God rest his soul, next to Mel on the deck of the ship. 15 years there, photographed Hurricane Andrew, a couple of presidential races, the first space shuttle launch, you know, et cetera, et cetera. There I am, the first space shuttle. There I am, did a TV series at WLRN called Photo Essay about photography. I'm a diver since I was a kid, and I've made 2,600 dives so far around the world. So I'm very much involved in helping save the environment. And I hope to be on the underwater habitat mission that NSU has coming up very soon with Michelle Cousteau. So I might be a photographer, maybe put in a vote for me. So there I am, you know, a kid, 17 at the time, and did every single freshwater spring. There I am with a Macintosh, which I took that into the Miami Herald, and I paginated the entire Miami Herald on one piece of film. That was the duty at the time of about 600 employees that every day put out 17 editions of the paper by putting wax on the back of a sheet of paper, cutting it and trimming it, and then flapping it down. Those 600 people unfortunately lost their jobs. 90% of them were actually retirement age, and they got nice packages, so it worked out for them. And the rest were students at that were doing that for extra money. But it's not a job that you really want to spend your life's time doing, and that's where AI comes in. Like I said, it's an amplifier, so we can stop doing those things. Very proud, 23 years at Broward College as a senior professor now. I hate the word senior, though. They got to come with that. Guru professor, the original. How about?
G professor, why not? The G professor.
Yeah, so we're NASDAQ accredited, which is one of the only ones in the state of Florida, and definitely one of the very few, which is quite a high honor. I've started a couple of initiatives I call moonshots. And my goal, this is with my students that I'm doing this. So right now, I am part of the AI Institute that just got tasked with this job yesterday, actually.
Oh.
The president of Broward College decided, hey, we got to educate the educators to figure out where we go with this. Because we're about to get ready to upskill and reskill America.
Yeah.
This is a foundational change of how we do business. And so I'm about to show you how important that is. And my motto is learn, adapt, and innovate. We first have to learn what we did wrong before, because if we don't learn from history, guess what? We get to repeat it again and again and again and again. So I'm not going to get political, but you imagine what history I don't want to repeat. And it's empowering yourselves and your humanity to take away the tasks. So this is going to happen. And guess what? By year 2030. So this is the World Economic Forum that reported this, and there's a QR code if you want to go check out the facts and details of this. 30% of jobs are going away. They are in retail, customer service, manufacturing, data entry, even call centers are being replaced by automated voices that are much better than yours, speak perfect English or whatever language you want, have a knowledge base of everything about your company. These are being put in everywhere. There's a McDonald's that's completely autonomous. All you do is drive the truck up, which is probably self-driven there, and you get your burger on time and you order on your app and there's no, so you've been at CVS, right?
Yep.
Do you like not talking to a person when you want to check out, or are you okay with scanning the code?
Like the person.
Yeah, I do too, right? So let's privilege the places where we want. If you're at a nice restaurant, do you want to order your stuff on a table that's all set up and orders it? No. So we got to remember what the humanity is. That's what we got to preserve. That's the real opportunity we have here. Because we've got in healthcare and AI management, marketing, educators, we have to reskill all those people. So that's why the AI Institute at Broward College is so vital to everything that we do. Because if the person teaching the nurse of the future doesn't know what the nurse of the future is going to be doing, how are they going to teach for that? So these are the sort of jobs as they are now and the sort of upskilling that might be necessary. So for healthcare, integration of diagnostics and treatment planning, I'll show you how breast cancer can be 17% today, 17% more efficacious in detecting early breast cancer by comparing to in 100,000 cases to any human. So if it can do that, let's see what else it can do. So already next year, this is 90 million jobs are going to be created. They are creative people, they're knowledge workers. We've gone from the industrial age, we've gone to the service economy, which is we're kind of at the tail end of that. We're moving into the intellectual property environment, which is where most of you reside as an educator. I don't make anything. I make hopefully human beings that go out and change the world for the good, right? That's my job. So we have to protect that intellectual property because that's the foundation. We don't have a bank that makes sure that Beyonce gets paid for her music downloads. Well, we sort of do, but we don't have it for a lot of artists and people that make new ideas and what makes the vibrancy of our economy work. So let's take a look. Here's what's negative going to happen. They're going away. Here's all the people that are going to be just upskilled. They're just going to be more powerful, be able to see more patients, spend more time with the human. If you just found out you had breast cancer, the last thing you want is an AI to tell you that answer, right? You know, so the human skills, then it can do some extra things. So here's what you need to have. This is what I'm educating my students to be. Take a look at this list and ask me,
Okay, thank you.
what are these all have in common? These are the innate properties of a human being who's self-actualized. These are the people we pay more money to, the creatives. We pay them more money. We critical thinking. You can be creative, but you've got to figure out, how do I make decisions, you know? You've got to be socially, emotionally intelligent. How do I sell that used car? I got to know what that person's ask is, what I can add value to the proposition. So autonomy and lifelong learning. So we have to continually update and upskill ourselves. So this is the beginning of what's going to happen. So when I teach graphic design, there's Photoshop 1.0, which I worked on that little Macintosh Plus you saw earlier ago, right? 34 years ago yesterday, that's what I was doing. And today we've got version 25, I think it is. And it's changed incredibly. I mean, I didn't have layers back then. It's insane. So, but that's for everybody now. Technology, literally the internet, we had about 10 years. Then a phone pops in, it makes it a little bit quicker. Now, today, you had AT&T blackout.
That's right.
Now, what did you do? I got here and I thought, I remember the days at Miami Herald, I had this book, this map of all of Miami and all of Broward County. I had 3 of them, right? I had to go 10 places I had to go every day to photograph people in their homes, right? And I had to find where they were and I had to sit there and map it out and figure out how do I get there? Do I have time for lunch? I mean, that's insane, right? Can you imagine? You're not old enough to imagine that, are you, right? Were you around when there were telephone booths?
Probably not.
Oh, the last one.
Probably not.
Hurricane Andrew, when I saw my last telephone booth standing, and it was just barely standing at the time. Okay, so inquisitiveness and problem solving, these are all so human, right? So what does it do? All that red tape that stops a K through 12 teacher from being able to teach, right? When you're worried about, you want to be able to make a nice lesson plan, but you just don't have the time because you're cleaning up vomit, as someone told me yesterday, who was a K through 12 teacher, right? So I've created this initiative, which I really am looking for someone to help me create a nonprofit. And this is the goal. That's not what AI can do for you, I'm paraphrasing JFK here, but what we can be empowered to do with AI. So what has it done for us already? If this doesn't give you chills when you think about it, this is like 6 years ago. It took and mapped 100,000 protein structures. That means it understands the human body's protein structures, which is the blockchain of our human existence right there. And it did it in how long? A few weeks. It would have taken top scientists 100 million years to do the same. And as Scott Pelley said in 60 Minutes when he presented this, it's the greatest gift to humanity because of this next slide. Moderna. How long has it been since the start of the pandemic?
4 years.
4 years. We'd be sitting here at home in Zoom wearing masks right now because it would have taken humans 7 years to get the Moderna vaccine. AI did it in 6 weeks. Actually, I think it's 6 weeks. So thank you, AI. It's already done these hidden things that we didn't really realize it was doing. Okay, took 100,000 women and they were being screened for breast cancer. The doctors did the best they could to try to figure out earlier you find out, the more you can do about it, right? So what did AI did? 17% better in early detection opposed to the doctors and nurses that did their best to do. And that's last year. Now you've seen some of the things like Sora. Look at Sora Open AI, watch the videos, and then come talk to me. And then I'll show you some things. Alzheimer's treatment. We've already got in production right now, in human testing right now, preventative Alzheimer's. So my mom, 7 years of not knowing who I was, didn't have to happen. And certainly my future is not going to be faced with that same sad ending to a beautiful life. So what we have here is a Renaissance moment. We are Gutenberg at this moment. People that created AI for us led to what? The Renaissance, the fastest growth of human knowledge and reasoning and intelligence. We finally figured out at that point, there was a book that told us this was true, that the earth did go around the sun as opposed to the other way around. And we got printed, what was the first book he did? Was the Bible. So let's imagine this is a Gutenberg moment. Instead of our fears, which we do have to address because they are very real and very impactful, let's start to see how we can empower ourselves. Be the optimist that I am, because I've seen what it can do and I know what it can change. And even those 4 little tiny moonshots I show you, there's 20 more of those that have already been done that you don't know about. There was a vaccine resistant virus going around all over the world. 100,000 people were dead by it. It figured out a way to have a new vaccine that could take over those resistant vaccines. So if it can do for that for us, what can we do for it? I'm not going to play this right now, but take a look at this perhaps later on. Maybe I'll, could you hit the play button on this one? This is Sora that I was talking about a minute ago. Okay, what you're watching is text. Listen to.
In a place beyond imagination, where the horizon kisses the heavens, one man dares to journey where few have ventured. Armed with nothing but his wit and an unyielding spirit, he seeks the answers to mysteries that lie beyond the stars.
Okay, let me tell you what you just saw. Every one of those images was a paragraph of text, period. This is OpenAI, the folks that brought you ChatGPT. They came out with this 3 days ago. What you heard there was 11 Labs, another AI company, that said, look at this video and make up some sound effects that seem appropriate. That's it. Then that whole thing was strung together. You can go to OpenAI and look at Sora, S-O-R-A.
S-O-R-A.
S-O-R-A, OpenAI. Find the videos. There's about 100 of them. You can actually download them as I did, string them together, do whatever you want to do with them. But yeah, that's where we are. If you saw my first pictures in Mid-Journey, I've been doing this for about a year and a half. This is it. This is all I'm doing for the rest of my life. So put me on a bigger stage. Let me talk to more people, inspire them. I hope you're getting this, right? That's all I want to do. That's my purpose on this earth. My planet Earth purpose is this. So anyway, if I have to do it for free till I get to a big enough stage that I can do something and maybe get paid for it too, that'd be great. But my dad always taught me, he was in the military, and we moved around the world. And the reason why I'm so good at it is I think we lived in Japan when I was 6 weeks old, and then in Athens, Greece for 4 years. Every 4 years I had to move. So first day of class, every place, I walked to a total stranger, said, do you want to be my friend? And I had 4 years to be that person's friend. So I learned to meet people, to get into that space. So I am supremely adaptable. And I asked my dad, why do they do that? He says, well, guess what? If I got dropped into war and it's in the Sahara or it's in Iceland, I got to be ready to go. And that's what they did. So every 4 years, I got conditioned into believing that. I came back to Alabama when I was 9 years old into segregation city. This is 1968, imagine, right? That I was faced with the first Black person I'd met in my life. And then I saw TV, and one of the first shows I saw was Neil Armstrong landing on the moon. So it prepared me to be super excited about possibilities. But I'm not unaware of the other problems. I'm going to skip this as well, but go back and take a look at this presentation, 60 minutes. You can find it on YouTube talking about AI. If you haven't seen it.
Here's Bard.
This is Adobe's Firefly. I'm a proud representative of the Firefly team. I've worked consulting with them in image making. Firefly is AI within the Adobe products. So it's in 3D products, it's in Illustrator, it's in Photoshop, it's in everything. The generative capability to do these kinds of things is here. It's in video now. So I just edited a whole video by taking out the ums and the ahs by editing the text, taking the text, copy and pasting it around, and reorienting the whole thing. So this is Photoshop. And this is 6 months old, so even better. Why you put that beautiful deer in an alleyway, I just don't get. But Aurora Borealis is good.
What is the name?
This is Firefly, which is AI for Adobe products. Okay, here's ChatGPT. All of these you can try out for free. Just type that in. And you can generate images. My recommendation currently, if you want to do images, download Copilot. It used to be called Bing, now called Copilot. Also try Gemini, although their images aren't as good. Gemini from Google is fantastic. It is the best if you're doing research. And since it's connected to Google search and everything else, it's really worthwhile.
And that was Bard last week.
It was barred last week. Like, this is how fast everything's happening.
We're designing these robots to serve in healthcare, therapy, education, and customer service applications. So the robots are designed to look very human-like, like Sophia.
I'm already very interested in design, technology, and the environment. I feel like I can be a good partner to humans in these areas.
So scary.
Sophia is capable
Her new
of
version
natural
is
facial
off the
expression.
chain
She has
faster
cameras in
than-
her eyes
She's still
and
creepy looking.
algorithms which allow her to see faces, so she can make eye contact with you, and she can also understand.
This is Copilot. Well, if you use both
This was
Microsoft,
here originally, I think.
well, here's the good part, right? If you use any Microsoft product, now Copilot is in every single thing. PowerPoint, Word, it answers your emails, writing back autonomously, having you interdict. So if you got a regular reply you do, set it up. If you want to generate a spreadsheet or analysis, you can also have Copilot Studio, which is a back-end product for all your IT folks. Connect all these disparate systems that you have that don't talk to each other with natural language. You don't have to program anymore. Programming is dead. PowerPoint with images generated automatically.
What a huge.
This is not tomorrow, it's today. It's now. So I'm going to skip through. This part is more of the Sora stuff. Potential risks, we've got copyright laws. Take a look at these. These are definitely things. The last thing I would love to touch on is Adobe is right now working on this, which is to protect, to make sure we don't get this all the time, especially during election cycle for sure, right? And I'm working with them to work on bias. So this is Adobe's interest. I actually asked for the ethnic and gender breakdown for people. So this is just saying nurses as a word, and this is saying doctors, and it pretty much matches but they had to engineer these problems out. So 90% of your fears are engineering problems that haven't been fixed yet. We're flying in a plane right now where there's no walls up yet. We're about to get to 10,000 feet, so we better get it built quick. And that means all the fixes and engineering things we've got to do. I think that's good.
Awesome, it's perfect.
And there's deep fakes.
作为一名教育家，我曾在上海、俄罗斯的可山和美国教过讲各种语言的学生。如果我会说西班牙语、
Spanish, etc. So I've got some other stuff that another time. There's a hurricane app that I've done with students. There's Project Hello USA, which is basically a matching game for immigrants who need a family to sponsor them. And so it's a connection. It's a community center building project. It's basically to help us fix our immigration system, which is sadly lacking. Imagine every community center across the nation is a meeting point where you meet, like a dating app, two people from Honduras that have two small children that are trying to immigrate. You've successfully done it. You've navigated it. You match with them. You meet in the community center. You have food together. You have Spanish language lessons, English lessons, etc. And you help them find places for their children, healthcare, etc. So these are all solvable. So Imagine is my motto. This is my children's book that's going to be published by Simon & Schuster. It's about fears that we have. Fears, and there's a portal she goes through where she addresses her imagination with, guess what? Her imagination. So the monster in the closet is a tired, cold, friendless monster whose birthday is today, and it's 6 years old. And she gets to invent a cake and then get rid of her fears. She's afraid of the dark, so she paints with fireflies. She's afraid of going in a plane tomorrow, so she flies over the city in her dreams. So your dreams or your imagination, when you're afraid of performing in front of people, stars come out of your mouth and light the night sky. And the next day, you're just amazing on the stage in front of those 20 adults. So that's my offer to you. We can cure all of these problems, all these maladies of what it is to be human, and be more human in the process. So thank you. If I could be of any service to anybody in any way.
Thank you.